One of our most sacred relics, one of our most sacred websites was just compromised. I'm talking about 4chan, so I hope you have all your B material backed up already. Apparently, this hack has leaked tons of information about 4chan users, so Taylor Swift might be panicking, wiping her hard drives as we speak, but let's check out what happened to the OG of the internet. What the hell these hackers were actually able to get into. Now, how were the hackers actually able to hack into 4chan? Now, some older, more experienced devs might be familiar with this type of vulnerability. It's called PHP code. Of course, I'm joking, but not exactly. Turns out 4chan's backend was running on an outdated version of PHP. You might be wondering how outdated. The version it's running is 13 years old. That's probably older than some of you watching this video. Now, there were some speculations online on what the vulnerability actually was. At first, people suspected it was SQL injection. Since the PHP version was so outdated, they were using old MySQL functions that were also deprecated. And they were deprecated for good reason because they were known to have vulnerabilities in them. But after some time passed, the hackers came back and made an update post. They said no, they didn't use SQL injection. Instead, some of the boards on 4chan allowed you to upload files, specifically PDF files. However, on the backend, they never actually checked if it was a PHP file that was uploaded. The hackers figured this out, and instead of passing in a PDF, they passed in a PostScript file. Now, if you're not familiar with PostScript, essentially PostScript is a programming language that allows you to describe the layout of a document that you're wanting to make. And PDF actually came from PostScript. So the hackers passed in a PostScript file that contained a draw command. They never said what they were drawing, but since they're on 4chan, my best guess, it was probably a lolly. That PostScript file was then executed by GhostScript, and they were able to access the global user from there. With access to the global user, they were able to do pretty much anything they wanted to with 4chan. First off, they leaked the source code of 4chan. People were able to dig through the source code and found there was a secret shadow ban process. Jannies were able to ban anyone they wanted without that person ever knowing. And the hackers could also look in the admin panel to see the reasons anyone got banned ever. Now, some of you who don't use 4chan, you might be wondering what the hell is a Janny? Janny stands for janitor, and they're essentially equivalent to Reddit mods for 4chan. They slog through all the content that gets posted on 4chan, and they have the ultimate say on what and who gets banned. And after the source code leak, Jannies got hit next. All of their email addresses and their IPs got leaked. Not only that, people were able to find their Instagrams and their home addresses. And allegedly in that list, the Jannies used .edu and .gov email addresses that can be linked directly back to them. Though that's all alleged, I can find a list to confirm if they actually used .edu and .gov email addresses. And the hackers themselves said there were no .gov email addresses, but that's all a little bit suspicious. So it's unconfirmed whether there was a direct leak of either. A little correction while editing this, I was actually able to find the list of email addresses. I'm not sure if this list is 100% valid. Looking through, there were .edu email addresses, but no .gov email addresses. Again, not sure if this is 100% legit, and of course, I'm not going to share this list. So now all 4chan mods are fearing for their lives. Though Jannies were not the only ones affected. User IP addresses were also compromised, which led to a graph being created to show which countries actually use 4chan the most. And let me just say, it's a little bit suspicious, and I'm not sure how valid this chart actually is, though it could be a case of 4chan users specifically using VPNs for this particular country. And 4chan mods weren't the only ones who provided the site their email address. Even though 4chan was anonymous, users could still opt in to verify their email address to have a persistent account. Whenever you made a comment or post on 4chan, you would get a random ID, so there wasn't really anything associated with you unless you verified this email address. Now, the hackers say they don't have these email addresses because the emails were hashed. But I'm a little suspicious of this claim. Why would user emails be hashed, but not their mods, their Jannies. Was it because they needed to send verification and password reset emails? I highly doubt it. Because of some of the suspicious comments made by these hackers, it's led to some funny conspiracy theories. There's a theory out there that these hackers are actually feds. If you look at one of their posts, they said that there are no .gov email addresses used, but they never said there weren't any .edu. So it sounds like they're trying to hide some people that could have had .gov domains that were on 4chan. I'm not sure about that conspiracy, but I do think it's pretty funny. It also led to another conspiracy that 4chan is run by the feds. Like the last one, I don't believe this one, but maybe I'm wrong and this would be even funnier. One of the funniest things leaked from the source code is the list of banned words on 4chan. For obvious reasons, I can't show you the entire list, but some of the ones that made me laugh the most are the ones towards the Nintendo enjoyers. For example, they had words like Nintoddler, Nintendoddler, Nintendrone, Nintendo-year-old. I gotta give 4chan users some credit on their excellent wordplay. As of now, the hackers are still in control of 4chan. Currently, the site redirects to random locations or is down most of the time, and there doesn't seem to be a fix coming anytime soon. And let it go down in history that the last post on 4chan was the Minecraft chicken jockey meme. That's most likely because 4chan mods are not paid, are hated, and are actually fearing for their lives. And honestly, I can't blame them. So the main lesson from all of this is to make sure you keep your frameworks, your systems, and your dependencies all up to date. Had 4chan been running the latest version of PHP, none of this would have happened and the Jannies' lives would still be safe. That being said, before the hackers get mad at me and leak the Sonic fanfic that I wrote, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if there are any updates to this story, I'll make sure to let you know. Thanks for watching.